Sometimes, out of nowhere, a wave of emotion hits you. It could be from an old photo, a song you haven't heard in years, or even the smell of something familiar. And for a split second, you're not here anymore. You're somewhere back there. Back in a version of your life you didn't realize you'd miss. You find yourself longing for a time that wasn't perfect, a time that honestly felt confusing, boring, or even painful when you were living it. But now it feels warm, safe, like it had something this moment doesn't. And the strangest part? You can't always explain why you miss it. You just do. It's like your heart remembers something your mind forgot. And suddenly the past feels like a home you didn't know you left. We like to think of memory as a recording, something that stores the details of our lives exactly as they happened. But memory is far more poetic than precise. It doesn't care about accuracy, it cares about feeling. Our minds don't save the full picture. They highlight what mattered emotionally. And in that process, something strange happens. We begin to edit our own story. The hard days fade into soft background noise. The awkward moments blur. And somehow what remains are the friendships, the laughter, the little moments that now feel like magic. But that's not the full truth. It's an emotional truth, a version of the past that's been softened by time and distance. And yet we believe in it. We cling to it. Because when life feels uncertain, overwhelming, or simply dull, our minds hand us a memory like a comforting blanket. Even if that memory is more feeling than fact. We don't remember events, we remember how we felt. And sometimes the nostalgia we carry isn't for a moment at all, but for the version of ourselves who was still innocent enough to believe everything was going to work out. The present is full of questions. Where am I going? What am I doing with my life? Am I behind? Am I enough? And in those quiet, unspoken anxieties, the past begins to whisper. It tells you things used to be easier, simpler, that maybe you were happier back then. It paints your memories with a soft, golden hue until even the hard moments feel like something you'd give anything to return to. But what's really happening isn't just about missing the past, it's about feeling unsteady in the now. The future is wide open, and that can be terrifying. There are no guarantees, no clear map, just a blur of choices and expectations you're supposed to figure out without any real instructions. So your mind reaches back to a time when you didn't have to make so many decisions, when you felt surrounded by people, by structure, by meaning. Even if you didn't realize it then. The past becomes a safety net, even if it was never really that safe. Because at least it was known. And when life feels uncertain, the known feels like home. We don't always long for the past itself. Sometimes we just long for the certainty we thought we had back then. We often say things like, life was so much simpler back then. But was it really? Back then we still struggled, we still felt lost, misunderstood, or overwhelmed, just in different ways. But time does something strange. It filters the noise, it erases the messiness and keeps the parts that feel comforting. It edits the story until even our worst days seem somehow softer than what we're facing now. The simpler times we miss were never actually simple. We were just younger, more hopeful, less aware of everything that could go wrong. We didn't have to carry as much. We weren't weighed down by expectations or regret, or the pressure to have it all figured out. And so when we look back, it's not the time period itself that we miss. It's the lightness we once felt in our hearts. It's easy to confuse nostalgia for truth. But nostalgia is a mirror that reflects not what was, but what we wish it had been. And sometimes the past becomes more beautiful in memory simply because the present feels too heavy to hold. The danger is believing that we've already lived the best parts of our lives, when in reality we're just missing a version of ourselves who hadn't yet been shaped by loss, disappointment, or the weight of growing up. At some point, we have to ask ourselves, what is it about the present that makes us want to run back into memory? Maybe it's the pressure, the uncertainty, the way every choice feels like it might close a door forever, the way time seems to move too fast and too slow at the same time. It's tempting to escape into nostalgia because the past feels familiar. We know how it ends. But the present? It's raw. It's unwritten. And that's exactly what makes it so terrifying and so full of possibility. We can't rewrite the past, but we can choose how we live the moment we're in. We can choose to be present even when it's uncomfortable. We can choose to stop measuring today against a golden version of yesterday that was never as perfect as we remember. Reclaiming the present doesn't mean forcing yourself to be happy. It means being honest with yourself. It means making peace with the mess. It means accepting that meaning isn't something we find. It's something we build, slowly, day by day, even through confusion. And maybe, just maybe, years from now, these hard, unclear, in-between days will be the ones we miss most. Not because they were easy, but because they made us real. The only way out of nostalgia is through presence. And presence begins the moment we stop running and start looking, really looking, at the life we're living right now. Nostalgia will always visit. That's part of being human. We carry pieces of our past everywhere we go, in songs, in smells, in sudden memories that show up when we least expect them. And that's okay. The goal was never to forget. The goal is to remember honestly, to see the past not as something to return to, but as something that brought us here. To hold it with gratitude, not with longing. You don't have to let go of who you were, but you also don't have to stay there. You are allowed to grow out of old dreams. You are allowed to change. You are allowed to feel lost. That doesn't mean you've failed. It means you're alive. It means you're becoming. The past may feel like a safe place to hide, but it's not where your story continues. That happens here, in the uncertainty, in the quiet courage to keep going, even when you don't have it all figured out. So maybe you don't need to chase simpler times. Maybe the most honest thing you can do is choose today. Choose it with all its imperfections, its weight, its wonder. Because one day, this moment, this messy, uncertain, in-progress version of your life might just become the memory you hold most dear.